Hello, fabulous people. This is the Together podcast, and this is the place where Cherise and I come together to help you get it together for your everyday business life. So we hope you enjoy.
It always ends up in vacation work. So we'll talk about it offline.
No, my friend gets on me as well because that's what my idea of vacation is. If I could just go away and work. So I am good for booking a vacation just to go to work, just to get project banged out or something.
Yes.
Last time I did it in the spring, I think it was this past spring, I had the best time. I feel like I got work done. I stayed at a Marriott. And I like to work in the lobby because I need to like see people and movement and everything. The boom feels on me, and so it was just so perfect. Like they had a buffet for breakfast, and I would go get breakfast, and I would go down to the lobby, and then I would order my lunch, and they would bring it right back to me, and I didn't have to worry about the dishes. And I was like, "This is." If you could just leave me alone and let me work. It was so good.
That's what I'm excited about, just taking a couple days and just focusing. And I already woke up with so much clarity, on what needs to be done and tackling that to-do list. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Okay. So last week we talked about, I think, the 3 things you could do. What did we say? We were like 3 things to do. I can't remember, but I remember we had some time.
Kind of like to end the year strong.
Yeah, that's what it was. And in that, we glazed over, because it's a deeper subject, possibly using MailChimp, but the really thing was creating your email list and how to basically get it started. And that's one of the things we wanted you to do, or revive your email list or anything. But we wanted to take a minute today and go deep into what that looks like so that everybody has a good understanding of what's happening or what behind the scenes, what it takes to get going. So, all right.
And also, Natalie, I would like to talk about what it means as well. Because I think too many people, like I'm actually talking to my community about their email communication and community communication, because a lot of people are taking their communities for granted and aren't communicating with them. And they think, well, I don't have anything going on. Yes, you do. You're living life daily, and people want to know, what do you have going on? They want the transparency and the vulnerability, and that's what the people aren't really willing to share, but that's what the people want to hear.
It is. It is. And I'll tell you, because it feels like when you're in a moment of vulnerability, it takes like extra effort to figure out, okay, how do I share this? And then it can feel real hard in those moments. So I get that. I think the other thing is at the beginning, when you're like, okay, but a list, but I don't have you think I don't have a list. I don't have an audience. I don't have anything. And so, first of all, know that you do have something. You do have something. And the only thing you got to have at the beginning is your story.
Yeah.
All right. So if I was starting from the beginning, which I am with one list. So the private practice kind of has a list that's up and going and everything. But my coaching practice does not have a list yet. All right. So I'm starting from the beginning. Okay. You want to coach me through it? Or you want me to?
Yeah, I would love to. We can coach each other. And then, let the audience pick up on the nuggets. And then you're so good at systemizing it, as we're going along, then they will learn a lot.
All right. But hold on real second. Well, I'm going to put y'all on hold for just a second because I need pen and paper to go through this. And I didn't put my pen and paper on my desk this morning. I over the weekend.
I left my pen and paper at somewhere too, so and Facebook. I am on my phone, so I cannot see you today. I can't see the comments. So whoever's there, if Tiana's there, if Kimmy Marche is there, if Sharita is there, any of you regulars that are there, feel free to facilitate the comments for me, for us rather. Feel free to, lead the tribe in Facebook today. We're a community. We're a team.
Yay. Okay. So
Okay.
tell the people something and give me like 2 seconds to go off camera.
Okay. All right. So everyone, welcome. It is Tuesday with the Together podcast with Natalie and myself. And we are going to talk about building that email community today, how to and what it means. This sounds really basic, but what I have come to learn is that even those people who have bigger brands, who have, a bigger presence, what I'm learning is that they are not communicating with their email list. And those are warm leads. Those are people who were interested somehow at some point. And funny thing is, Danielle, my cousin, who's been my business partner forever, he sent me a huge old email list from some years back, right? And it was probably from our events and just over the years, the salon, different things we had going on, just the emails that we had collected. And he said, "Hey, what do you want me to do with this? You want me to just get rid of it?" Or I said, no. I was like, I saw so much value in that list because immediately when I went to look at it, I saw people's names that I had not seen in a while. And I would just love to know how they're doing. And I bet they would love to know how I'm doing and what I have going on and how I could serve them, right? So we're going to scrub the list, but I'm going to reach out to them and see how they are and if they want to, get back active in the community and how I can serve them. Don't take anybody for granted because that's your community.
That's your community. And I'd say, let's make that a kind of chicken nugget on the side. I had a pastor who used to say that all the time and it just stuck with me. If you have an email list or just a list of emails from something before, do not throw them away.
No.
Don't throw them away.
Don't throw them. Let them unsubscribe because you can re-engage with them and keep them on the list, re-engage. Because I have people in my inbox that I just let keep emailing me until I see a topic that I know I want to jump in on, or I just make sure like, okay, I just keep letting it stack up. Yeah. And then I'll go in and start, when I get a chance, like this week will be good for that, to go in and just start re-engaging in some of the old content.
I think I have a number of people and I'm on their email list. Some of them I just want to see what they're doing. Some of them I'm going to work with that person one day. And when I get ready to work for them, I don't want to have to go find them on the internet again. Like I want to be able to be like, okay, I know they just sent me an email.
Jump right in.
Yeah. With that. Okay. So I'm starting an email list for my coaching practice from scratch.
Okay.
All right. So what's the first thing you would tell me to do?
The first thing I would tell you to do, Natalie, is go in from all your booking system, right? And just collect those emails from there, export them from the booking. Because who do you book? You book with Acuity.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a list in there. And you go in there, you export that list, and you put that, you import that list into your CRM.
Okay.
Now, let's be clear. Acuity will do it.
Yeah.
Everything. Acuity does everything. So you can communicate from Acuity as well. And that's how you keep that separation. But also you want to go over and put a list in your CRM for that group too. So you just have to decide, where you want to communicate with them from. But it's really important to communicate them from Acuity for the coaching, because that's where, they're booking at, and that's where they're familiar from.
Okay. All right. So so let's say for the purposes of this, because I know everybody doesn't have Acuity. So let's say I'm going to find a CRM. And we said MailChimp still has a very free version of that. Does Constant Contact have a free version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not familiar with Constant Contact anymore, but they definitely had a free version.
All right. So CRM is customer relationship management software. And there's several companies out there to do it. Get Response, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Aweber, Infusionsoft. It's the list goes on and on and on and on with that. And so you might want to do just a little bit of searching online to figure out which one is going to be best for you. Definitely make sure you do a trial, go in there and create an email and see how easy that feels for you. Okay. So do that. You get your list. All right. And then create the first email, which should be, it could be a welcome email. It could be a survey email. It could be a let me introduce myself email, or you could do all three. And that's your first three emails. Yeah. Okay. I would at the beginning I'd probably schedule those first three fairly quickly, like maybe every 3 days or something like that. Then I would probably drop down if I'm at the beginning and I don't want to overwhelm myself and I want to keep in contact with my list consistently, then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write out 12 emails to go out once per month. Let's see, when a person gets added to my list, then they'll get like maybe those first 3 mails at 3 days apart. And then it'll drop down and they'll get 1 email per month. So that way I only got to come up with 12 emails and now I'm automatically communicating with my people for a year. That's probably what I would do. Okay, what would you do?
What can I ask you a question? What is that called? What is what you just explained called?
Autoresponder.
Well, in an email funnel.
And an email funnel.
And I'm saying that just so people can understand, because one thing about coaching, teaching, a lot of people teach from such an advanced space that a lot of things are going over people's heads. Perfect example, you know, I work with quite a few corporate professionals, really intelligent, bright, brilliant women, but they are just now stepping into the entrepreneurship space. So when they hear email funnel or, you know, autoresponder, it could be a little bit foreign to them. You know, so when you are teaching and coaching, like just, you know, go back and repeat some of the basic things that you already know, you've been knowing. Think about the people who don't know. And they may look good on social. They may be selling their stuff online, you know, and doing well. And they may have Shopify and they may have all these things who are collecting emails for them. But what we're talking about also is making sure you're communicating with the email list as well, personally. You know, and not just the autoresponder. Make sure that the autoresponder is your personality.
Yes. So let's talk about 2 ways to do that. Okay. So actually 3 ways to do it. If you are a prolific writer, then you can sit down and you can just write those 12 emails. But even before that, I want you to do a step before you start writing, which is identify your ideal client and the problems that person is going through or having. Like, you want to figure that out. When I teach my people, I want your identified client. I want you to have a name. I want you to have picked out a picture of them. I want you to be able to tell me what pissed them off last week. Like, I want you to really sit down and figure out. So my ideal client right now is Talia. Actually, I have 2. I have a completely different set for the sex therapy practice, but in my coaching practice, I have Sharonika and Talia. Talia is a single mom. She's right at 30 and she works for an agency and she just needs to make more money and she's getting burned out in the agency. And she just doesn't feel like she has the time or the energy to figure out, like, how do I get started? I really want to get her into private practice so she's making more money in less time and she has more freedom over her time. But we got to figure it out with the insurance and just how to make that transition. So that's where she is. So if Talia is my ideal client, then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think about Talia and all the things that are stressing her out. Time management, childcare, her boss pissing her off because it's a micromanager, her not having the freedom to operate like she wants to operate, feeling like she can't help her clients in the way she does because the agency is tying her up. She doesn't have creativity or freedom. So I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write all those things. Now, if I'm a prolific writer, then you can just sit down and kind of write 12 emails or articles directly to her. And this is how you make your email sound personable, because you're talking to the person. Whatever you did, there you go. Because you are talking directly to a person.
Yeah.
So my stuff is gonna be like, hey sis, I know your boss just got on your last nerve. I need you to hang in there, and I need you to take an hour this week and think about who you want your ideal client to be in private practice.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's a exercise on how to develop your ideal client. I'm believing in you. You can do it. So that might be an email one. If I'm a prolific writer. So the way to come up with, and we're just saying 12 emails at the beginning, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I want you to put something out there and have it last for a year. So if you write 12 emails and then you schedule them out to hit every 30 days, you got 12 emails. You got your people are covered and you're communicating them for the next year. Okay. So prolific writer is option 1. Okay. Option 2 is going to be Chat GPT. And so everything that I just put in to you, I would put in Chat GPT. My ideal client is a blah, 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 blah. These are the things that she's struggling with, blah, 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 blah. Please give me 12 emails, titles, or I might just say 20 so I can, please give me 20 possible email topics to start an email funnel with her. And then ChatGPT, with its fabulous, wonderful self, will spit out, let's say, the 20. From the 20, then I'll probably pick the best 12, and then I'm going to plug that in. So using this same ideal client, so ChatGPT know my client Talia. So I'll say, using my ideal client Talia, please write an email to her with this topic, and then ChatGPT is going to write it. So after ChatGPT writes it, you will then put that in a Word document, and you will go in and infuse more of your personality into it. Okay. If you've been working with ChatGPT a while, it'll probably have some of your personality a little bit in it. Like ChatGPT knows that I usually start with, hey sis, and I usually end something. It actually knows me better than, it's a little scary, but yeah. But you're gonna still go through and infuse your personality. So what does actually that mean? It means when you read it, is that something you would say? No, that's not something you would say. Okay, so switch that sentence around to make it sound like what you would actually say. Yeah. Then let's say, just read through it, and then you'll be like, nope, that don't make sense. Nope, I want this. Nope, I don't agree with that step. Yeah. I'm going to take that step out and put this step in. Okay, and so now you've infused it with your personality. Now that is that. And so now you got your 12 emails, which you will then take out of Word, and you will copy and paste them into the autoresponder, whichever one you choose. And then in the autoresponder, you're going to set it up to hit every 30 days. So that's once a month. When people get added to the list, you ain't got to worry about them get communication for the first year. The third way, which I don't hear people talk about a lot anymore because we like to lean on ChatGPT so much, but was PLR, private label. I can't remember if the R stand for resources or stuff, but the PL was definitely private label. And the website I used was plr.me. Okay. You can go to that website and you can buy a set of articles. Okay. So you could pay probably $50 probably $20, $25 and buy probably 12 articles on whatever coaching topic you want to buy on. So whether it's building a business, building an email list, building a whatever, you can buy those articles, and they will give you those articles I mean, you're buying them, so you're purchasing them, but they also give you all rights. So when you purchase the article, you also download like the rights to the article. All right. Now, again, you have to infuse your personality in it.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of these articles are going to be the very basics.
This is the format. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But which is amazing to have a format. You're not pulling everything from the back of your mind up.
You don't have to.
Everything.
Right. It's essentially like getting a recipe offline and then cooking it in your kitchen. And then
working it.
So you're going to get the articles. You're going to read the article. You're going to infuse the article with your personality. If you don't agree with something the article says, you're going to take it out. Some articles, though, you're going to be like, man, that's exactly what I would say. And that's exactly the way in which I would say it. Okay, great. You still need to infuse your personality into it. So whether that's hey sis, whether that's let's keep it real, y'all, like whatever kind of taglines or little words that you always say. And if you don't know what you always say, ask your friends. There's probably some words that you always say. So I'm good for saying so.
Which should be in your email.
Right. So that when they're reading the email, they actually hear your voice, your tone, and your inflection. I might be, I would put that in the email in it, but go ahead.
Yeah. I want to speak to exactly that, Natalie. So, we were taught to be so prim and proper and articulate and all that, which is necessary to a degree, but, you have to really, truly be yourself. And people used to, a few people, you email and you text like you talk.
Yeah.
I know. I know. Why are you trying to change me? Because that's why people like my communication. Because when they feel like they're having a conversation with me. And first of all, that's the only way I learned. I learned to talk like me.
Yeah.
But I had insecurity about that at first because people were trying to check me and correct me.
Yeah.
And then I noticed some of my favorites, like Marie Forleo. And actually when I took B school, she really helped open me up to just being myself. And then my girl Stephanie, and then my girl Jennifer, I realized like, they're being themselves, and I like being myself. Like, because that's the only way I know how to be. If I'm over here talking prim and proper, this is not my voice.
Yeah.
As long as you understand and can connect with what I'm saying, I'm good.
Yeah.
You don't like my dialect, my tone, that's on you. You're not my tribe.
Yeah. So I think culture changed in general. And so a lot of us who kind of grew up in the 80s and 90s, our aspirations were to be in corporate America. And so we learned how to write professionally and speak professionally. And your writing should not sound like you're speaking, probably especially if you're from the South or have some other
or any hood
minority labels. Let's say it like that.
Right.
All right. But I want you guys to understand we're in a different marketplace. The market is different now. And so whereas before in the 80s, we gravitated toward big name companies, big name brands. Now culture is moving away from the big names and they want to know people. We want to know where our food is coming from now. We want to know who's selling us things now. And so it's behooves you to be more personable, to be more yourself, to infuse your authenticity into it now. Now, I like Airbnb, like Uber, like there's a personal touch that's coming back into the marketplace. And so, especially in coaching, because it's more of a relationship-based business, people want to know you. They want to know you. And so let them know you, let them hear you. And you also need to know you and hear you. So if you don't know who you are or how you sound or how you're coming across, do a couple of podcasts and then listen to them yourself. And then just know what are the things that you say over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And again, ask your friends. They can tell you. They'll tell you, girl, you know you're good for saying da 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 da. Girl, you know you always saying da da da. One of my friends, Treva, she'll say, like you always tell us. What do I always tell you? Like you always know my numbers. I do say I do want you to know your numbers. That is true. That is true. All right. So you might be able to just listen to your friends and pick it up, but they're good for telling you. And then those things you want to infuse into your writing. And so now that we're having this conversation, I might just make myself a little list of things I always say. I always know I start a lot of stuff with, so if you was thinking about this, then you would need to do this. So that's a good thing for me. Know your numbers. That should be in all of this. Now, for those people who want to take it up a notch and get real fancy with what should be in these emails, you can sit down and write out your content pillars. Okay. So content pillars are just a couple of themes that you've decided that when you communicate with your people are always going to be present. So these are the things that you're going to talk about. So you can have 2 content pillars. I wouldn't have any more than 7 because it's going to feel like you're talking about everything all over the place. But so somewhere between 3 and 7. And then these are the constant themes that you kind of always going to be talking about, because when you want to get known for something, so you don't want to be so all over the place that you kind of never know what you're about. Like, she was talking about sausage last week and she talking about couches this week. And so there's a way to do it if you need to be that broad, but you also need to kind of encapsulate into like what you're trying to sell and do. It should be kind of a objective and theme running through your things. And so kind of figure out what that is and make it there. And so again, I think me and ChatGPT came up with my content pillars.
I was going to ask you, can you name 3 of them for the audience?
I have my list. So this is what ChatGPT and I did together, because at this point, ChatGPT might as well be my business partner. So what we did is I actually had been, okay, y'all, I'm a little extra sometimes, so this is a long, complicated way to do it. You ain't got to do it like this. So what I had been doing this year is introducing myself to people on LinkedIn. Connecting with more people on LinkedIn. When they connected with me, I would send them a message saying, hey, so great to connect with you. Would you tell me the top 5 struggles that you're dealing with right now in your practice business life? When those people, and not everybody texts me back or message me back, but when they would, I would take those 5 struggles and I would put them in an Excel document. So I just had a list of struggles and problems that my clients are dealing with. Now, that makes for excellent content. So now I can write directly to their problem. But also, I took that whole list of problems when I had about 100. This took months. This is not an overnight strategy. But when I had about 100, I took the whole list and I fed the list in the ChatGPT. And I said, ChatGPT, based off of these problems, complaints, develop, I think I went with 7 content pillars for me. And somehow, I can't remember how I asked ChatGPT or what, but somehow in that, I also came up with the percentages of kind of how much I need to be talking about it. With that. So with that is what I say a lot. So that needs to be in my writing. So hold on, y'all. Let me look up my content pillars and I'll tell you what they are. Okay. Yep. I just updated in May. So out of what my people were telling me, my content pillar number 1, and each one has 7 items under it. So my content number 1, I'll keep it high, is work-life balance and time management. And I need me talking about that probably about 25% of the time, because that was 25% of the complaints. It had something to do with work-life balance and time management. Number 2 was marketing and branding strategies at 20%. Number 3 was financial management and cost control at 15%. Number 4 was business operations and risk management. So like how to develop efficient systems and implementing, organizing documentation and processes around that. Number 5 was leadership development and staff management at 10%. 6 was vision and direction setting. 7 was community building and collaboration. And those last 3, 4 were all at 10%. And so that's how I came up with my content pillars. And so I should, based off of that, that's like 49 topics, 7 content pillars with 7 under each one. That's 49 topics. Yeah. And so one day when I take a work vacation again, I can just feed, if I wanted to, I could just feed those into ChatGPT and come up with articles on each one of those. And again, even though ChatGPT is doing mainly right, I was horrible in writing. I don't even know how I made it through grad school. I mean, it was a lot of tears. Like, it was a lot of tears. I still remember being on the fetal position trying to write a paper. So writing is very hard for me. So I lean on ChatGPT a lot to help me with writing, which has just allowed me to be prolific in a way that I've never been before. It's like magic, because it's like, oh, I would have said that. Like, it really does. So praise the Lord for technology. But okay, what's the next question?
Okay, so I'll for example, so they have more understanding. I'll give 3 of my pillars, okay? And real quick, and I don't have mine written in front of me, but so mine are self-concept, all right, and self-awareness. So self-concept, as I often explain, is how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you value yourself, okay? And I dive really deep into that self-awareness of that, like, literally, how do you see yourself? How do you feel about yourself? How do you value yourself? Because that is how other people perceive you, right? How you deal with you. Reinventing yourself.
Yep.
Okay. Which is why in order to reinvent yourself, you have to become self-aware of how you see, feel, and value yourself. Yep. And then community building. So those are my top 3.
Yeah. I feel like I can name your other ones. So showing up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Showing up is one. And then I want to say cash infusion.
Yeah. Cash infusion. Yeah.
And then CEO. Becoming from leaving a one
woman show to CEO.
I don't know how
for sure.
I would, which is all about like building community and a team, building a team. CEO building a team.
Yes.
Those are yours, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. If I had to give one more, what would it be? That would be.
Did we do the transformation or
transformation?
Transformation.
Yeah, which is kind of reinvent yourself.
It is. But it's the ecosystem. You know, for me, it is, showing and allowing people to become conscious enough to realize you're probably struggling and going through a lot of self-sabotage because you haven't seen yourself valuable enough to build a team, to invest enough in yourself to expand. Right. So that's why I also work and deal a lot with the self-awareness, like in the consciousness, like you have to become conscious enough to know and understand you are struggling because you are a one-woman show. You are a CEO, not a one-woman show, but that one-woman show is the old version of you that you're staying attached to instead of building and creating and curating the CEO. So that is my space right there, and helping people understand it. And it's a struggle for so many people. And it is where a lot of people are stuck, but they can't understand, I'm working so hard. I can't this, I can't that, because you're playing too small.
Right. Definitely so. And I think a lot of us who struggle with that also feel like, but nobody can do it like me. Nobody can do it the way I do it. You right. Yeah. But that don't mean your way is the right way. How about we find somebody who can do it better than you? Yes. How about we get you to stay in your lane and get somebody who can do that thing better than you? Because I bet you are not the best graphic design artist.
Yeah.
Just clean that off.
You just can do it, can get it off.
Right. Let's give somebody else that. Hand it off, hand it off. And so that's huge. That is huge when you realize that, okay, I'm not gonna grow if I keep doing it like this. It's just only 24 hours in the day.
For sure.
You got to make money. So you just can't be doing
you do.
Right.
And Dan Martell, I was listening to his podcast one day, and he was talking about how he scaled his business. He basically scaled his business by trusting his people to do what they do and make the mistakes they make, because it's worth that, because he chooses good people, who know what they're doing, and he has to allow them to do what they know how to do. And he hands it off, and then he gives them instructions, and he goes about his business. If he has to come back and correct, he's fine with that. They'll correct together, but he would much rather correct together, instead of it not getting done because he wants to hoard it.
Say that part. I think that might be the key thing right there, is when you realize this is not getting done.
Yeah, it's not getting done.
This is not getting done. I am the bottleneck. So when you realize it's not getting done, that because you can't do it or you can't get to it, okay, let me just get somebody else to do this. How much is this going to cost? What do I need to budget? Let me just go ahead and get somebody else to do this. I think that's the big thing with that.
Buy your time back. That's his thing. Buying your time back.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So it's important, and when you start, and that's a huge factor into how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you value yourself. You have to see where your value is. Your value isn't over here, being in Canva creating flyers. Someone else needs to do that. You need to go over here and be creative and build community. Go get the people when someone else can do that. Someone else can be going in Chat GPT for you, and you can too, but you share the information and let them go do what they do with it, and do the batching and all that kind of stuff,
Definitely so. And so I think last week and the last couple of weeks, I've been really talking to y'all about creating these templates. Once you get these templates created, it's so much easier to hand it off. So you just go in there, fill out your template, send it to the person, they get it done. So by the time you do your own, so I think there's a couple of things that you want to work on getting done. So your templates, for one, of just when I need an ad done, this is what I do. When I need this done, this is how I want it to look. Your brand guide, okay, which is a whole nother topic.
You're getting high level on.
Okay, so let me bring it back down. Okay, at the very least, I would want everybody to have on a sheet of paper, a PDF document, their colors, just with hex codes. Example, you can make this in Canva. This is one of the things I do want you to make in Canva. Your colors, you want no more than 7 colors. Ideally, probably more down to 3 or 4. So your colors with the hex code. Okay. A couple of things about your brand, maybe some keywords that you say, maybe your content pillars, and so that when you bring somebody on, that you can say the fonts you always use, that this is about what my stuff is like and what it should look like. These are the colors we should use, and that'll bring consistency no matter who's working with you. That's why it's important to get those hex colors, the code, so that everybody's using the same shade of blue. Everybody's using the same shade of pink. Everybody is using the same font. And so, because as you switch out people, you want your stuff to look consistent, All right.
That's why I want everyone to understand Canva. Like at least understand the basics in Canva, so you can have those things in place, like you're saying, to go in and whoever you switch out to, or whoever you give assignments to, they have the template, like you're saying. That's exactly what she's saying, the template. And Canva Canva. Go take a Canva 101 course on YouTube or somewhere inside Canva. Like, you need to know the basics. I remember one of my first flyers I ever made in Canva. I made $15,000 off that Canva post that I created, right? And I thought it was so corny and I wasn't comfortable with it. But when I put it out there, people were like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. And I'm like, what? And I made money off that bad boy.
There you go.
And that was when I really bought into Canva. Like, oh, this is the truth, a template. Because all I did was went in, popped some pictures in there, some words, and anybody can do it. Anybody.
It really
You just you don't want to be putting too much time in that space when someone else can be doing it for you when you have other stuff you can do and it's more important.
Definitely so. All right. For those of you guys who have more money than time, know that you can hire a marketing firm to create a brand guide for you. A brand guide or style template, whatever you want to call it, to pick out your colors, fonts, and all of that. You probably can find somebody on Upwork to do it for you, but you can also do it yourself. Like,
you can do it.
You don't have to. Like, we times New Roman. Let's just keep it consistent. Arial, keep like whatever. So, and all of that's going to flow through your writing. And all of those little things, they do matter. Now, if you're at the beginning, just come up with this email list, get it in there. And now this is probably, if you're going to come up with 12 emails, this is probably, I think you could do this in a half a day. Half a day. And the reason why I was saying 12 is just so you're communicating with your people once a month for a year.
Once a month. That's it.
And then I would prefer, let's say you in a next quarter, you sit down and you write another 12 and then you put those in there. Now, once you got the email list, you can go and email your people anytime you want.
Anytime.
So you can wake up and be like, hey, y'all, happy Thursday. I was thinking about y'all and Or, hey, y'all, is everybody okay? I just heard the storm. A lot of people got damaged from the storm. Just know that I'm thinking about you and I'm sending my prayers to you. You could do any of it, any and all of that. So, all right. Anything else we need to share with the people for today?
Sure. That was a lot. That was really good. Good. Start working on that email list. The basics. Stop taking your email list for granted. If you think you don't have one, it has to be untrue. Because if you are in any level of business, you got some emails.
You do.
Somewhere stashed. Somewhere. So think about in your phone and even just collecting them. Like, go back to the basics. If you meet a person, get their card or get their email address. A lot of us are using the digital cards now. Their email address will be on their digital card. But if you don't do all that yet, hey, what's your email address? Okay, great. And your phone number. I got your phone number. Let me get your email address. You mind if I put you on my list, put you in my database so we can communicate? You do that got going on. We can get to know each other, get more acquainted. Like, collect emails, because if all this stuff goes away, I mean, I know you hear it all the time, but I need you to get serious about it. If all the social media goes away, you still have your base email list. And those are the people that really buy from you, that take you serious.
Definitely so. Yeah. All right, my dear. I feel like we gave people really good information. I think what we did today, somebody has sold as a masterclass for $50 to $100.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
In a really great Tuesday morning conversation.
There we go. Yeah. So I hope you guys got value out of it, and I'm gonna challenge you to get your email list started. So with my coaching practice, because I haven't started the email list yet, I feel like out of the clients that I've actually used for coaching, I feel like I only have probably like 5 to 10, but we talk about humble beginnings and start with what you got. So we're going to start with that, and I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to challenge myself to do these 12 so I can get this done.
Yeah. And they are so important. Those coaching clients are important. They are your future.
Yeah.
they are your academy. They are that community that's going to expand your life, and business to the next level, So they need you.
They do need you. And so think about that. Okay. So in our last 5 minutes, this is what I want to say. Really work on who your ideal client is. Really, I want that person to be real for you. So like I have a picture of Talia, which I just found a picture online somewhere of what I felt like she would look like. So I have a picture of her and her kids. I also have a picture of my other ideal client, Sharonika, and her whole family. So Sharonika has 2 girls and a boy. The boy is 2 years old and he's autistic, and a husband. And so it's the 5 of them, this cute little Christmas picture that I found. But have that picture in your head of who your ideal client is, so that when you write, you're writing directly to that person.
Yeah.
And when you're writing directly to that person, then your personality comes out and your stuff feels personable to them. And I promise you, you're going to get people be like, girl, you was in the spirit on the Lord's day. Oh my God, that your social media was right on time for me. Oh, it's speaking to me. Oh, it's da 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 da. And when I've noticed, it's so funny because when I'm doing it, like when I'm doing that, when I'm not just like getting up and writing, but when I'm writing to her, people do say that about my social media. Like, girl, your social media was right on point. You was talking to me today. You exactly what I'm going through. Yeah. It is.
That's what matters.
So really work on knowing who your ideal client is. I want you to know everything about her, him, them, who is it. And then one of the coaches I listened to, she says, which is I'm excited about, she says, when you get to when you get to the, I think she's saying the 6-figure level, like when you can do 6 figures in one launch, probably like 6 figures in a day, something like that. She was like, then you switch from working with 1 ideal client to 5 ideal clients. And so her thing is, and I think that's really exciting. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So all that to say is learning the skill of developing one good, clear, ideal client is going to be really powerful for you. And it's going to make your marketing a lot easier, because you're not going to get up and say, what do I say? What do I talk about? Now is, okay, what is Talia? That's mine. What is Talia struggling with today?
Yeah.
What is she here? Well, it's coming up on Christmas. So she's concerned that she doesn't have enough money for winter clothes and Christmas. And she probably got a fee or something that's due. So an unexpected bill, because they always come at the same time. She's really struggling about finances. So I'll probably start talking to her about finances over the next couple of months. Hey girl, I know Christmas is coming up. This is something you can do real quick to go ahead and get you $400-$500 to buy a couple of Christmas gifts and go, so you're not stressed at the last minute. That would be a good thing to talk to her about this week.
Yeah.
So, but see, that was not about what do I want? What is going on with your ideal client? That's going to make your writing, your producing so much easier. What is she going through? What is he going through? What do they need to hear right now? What are they struggling with? What just stressed them out? And you write to that. So, okay. All right. That's it. You have a wonderful day. Anything else you wanted to say?
I'm good. That was
okay. Good. All right.
Amazing.
Great.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. Bye-bye.